with computation, well, with computing, I would rather say, without having to program. And we took our starting point in this idea of making a grocery list. So imagine that we have a system here where it's a document, and go ahead. I start working on a grocery list. So I type cheese, I center it. There we go, centering. And then I make it a bullet point. There we go. It's very traditional, yes. But then I press the new future. So click, and now we're going to edit the future. So I get a copy of my thing there. I press a record button, and now I record an interaction. I click on the cheese, and I get I stop the recording somehow, and I get a small movie clip, and now I get a selection of possible futures. So the system does some inference, and we will come back to this. Is a simple type of inference. So it knows, oh, he's created a bullet list. So you can remove items. So is this the future you want, where you remove it? Is the future the one where you've done something with the item, for instance, underlined it? Or is it the future where I've duplicated the item on the list? Or do you want to add a completely alternative future? So let's play forward. I move the mouse to the middle one. That's actually sort of what I want. But I click again in the future to edit it a bit, because I didn't want it underlined, but instead I wanted it to be stroken over. Okay, so, yeah. And then I create a number of these futures. For instance, one for adding another item, one for deleting an item, and perhaps some other stuff for formatting that then constitutes this. It becomes this application that is the grocery list application, where I've demonstrated these through in a partnership with the computer that infers what possible futures could this interaction entail. All right, then what do we have now? Oh yeah, it's folded down into. Yeah, it was folded down into a thing. There we go. Very nice. And then we have Clemens' grocery list here. Right. Okay. Then we work with the idea of super futures. Basically, the idea that if you start working on something, for instance, here, I instead of just writing cheese before, I write apple and 3, and then I do record the same interaction again. That I click on this thing by recording an interaction. There we go. What happened now is that it looks into the repository of stuff that people has done. And one thing that you can see here, if you pause a bit, oh, it's going too fast, can you go back a bit, where you see both of them, is that there are 2 super futures and then some of the basic futures. And 2 of the super futures, can you go where it has kind of, yeah, there's that. Okay, right. So we have the grocery list from before, because this could be a grocery list that you're working on. But it could actually also be a phone book, because this matches something where you have a list where there's a name first and there's a phone number. And then, in this case...
There is a shot of each one.
Oh yeah, there's a shot of each. This was the one from before. And then this is the phone book thing. And these are the primitive futures. But notice that they changed a bit, because there's a subtlety. I clicked on the number in this case, so one of the possible futures is that it incremented the number, because it knew it was a number, so that's one suggestion for a possible basic future.
You're at 10
sorry?
You're at 10,000.
Okay, I'll quickly end. Then, in this case, I just picked, oh, it's a good idea to make a phone book, let's do that. But I would like to be able to extend it so I can call from my phone. So we imagine that create a future number 140. I do a recording of clicking on a number, and now we don't have the exact interaction design for this, but instead of making a new state of the system, I record an action. So I press this plus, it could be a record, and now I type in the phone number on my phone and call it, and then the possible future is that when I press a number, my phone starts calling that number. So it's all interconnected, yeah, by demonstration. That's it.
Okay, good.